I would like to introduce the panelists. We're going to have Avid Ravishik on the podium. Please let's put our hand together for him. Nikki Vert. You seem not to be excited. Please put your hand together for them. Engineer Charles Energy. And Folawemi Umuna. You can have your seat. Okay, while Engineer Charles is coming up, I just want to make a very great statement. Sometimes when you have programs like this, innovation programs like this, please understand that something is about to be given birth to. And you can have a seat. You can have a seat. Sorry for keeping you standing. In 1947, some group of world leaders met at Chatham House to decide the fate of Africa. And after that meeting, we have almost all the nations in Africa having their independence in the 60s. In 1966, there's a class called the Class of 66 in King's College. They decide the fate of Nigeria. And then after that, we have them become leaders. With me seated here, we have a mindset expert, Nikki Vert. We have engineer Charles, an infrastructure expert. We have Avid Ravishik as a technology expert. And we have Folawemi as a service impact. The only expert that's missing here is policy expert. That's from the government. But here we have governance, we have government. Put your hands together for these ones. We are going to, oh no, that's not encouraging students. What you're going to witness now, you know, we've been having discussion. We want to take it from here to the house. We want to mine. We want to harvest. And one of the ways to do it is when idea comes together, it gives birth to novelties. Novelty produces energy. This is the energy in the house. Energy brings synergies. And synergy brings strategy. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much. Please let's put our hands together for the VC. He just said the commissioner is willing to help in policy. Jump those hands together. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. Please, you can come on stage. Professor Abayomi is now representing the policy side of this discussion. Please put your hands together for them. Now, I was making a sequence which we can build upon on this side. That where we have the complete theme that is going to generate the next opportunity for us. Now we have the bringing idea that will turn to novelty. For novelty, we have energy. From energy, we have synergy. From synergy, we have strategy. And from strategy, we have the marketing called BIV, commercialization. Wow! Oh, so much. You can do better than that. In your own words as Amas and your fields of endeavors as technology expert, infrastructures, mind shifter, and the service policy, can you differentiate before this whole house? Just give us one or two, because this debate has been on for years. The difference between revolution and evolution in your field. Revolution and evolution. Say that to me, students. They are not the same. Are they the same? So let me start with my first person, technology expert, Avid Ravishik. In 60 seconds, please, 60 seconds.
I think from my perspective, one is initiated and the other happens to you. So it's your choice of which one you want to take.
One is initiative and the other one happened to you. Thank you so much. Thank you for it.
I would say that a revolution is a movement that you don't have much control over. But when it comes to evolution, it's something you can initiate, like he has just said, and evolution determines if you will be part of the revolution.
Now to follow you. Yeah.
So I think revolution as destructive, is a destruction, and just like she said, the variables are not within your control. But evolution sounds like growth, something that is conscious, something that is intentional, something that is scalable, that you can keep going or grow.
Thank you so much. Let's put that together for her. Yes, they are unraveling that mystery for us. Come, Professor.
Thank you very much. Revolution is actually unplanned. It can happen without any preparation. Whereas evolution is like something that grows, something that is planned, something that is initiated, and though it can lead to revolution where there's a particular level. So you can see the preparedness or planned nature of revolution will actually differentiate it from evolution. That's actually something that you plan and then it grows. Now, so you say it has evolved.
Wow! Yeah. Now, Engineer Jazz, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, there is a very thin line between revolution and evolution, in the sense that for a revolution is like something that happened and is beyond your understanding, is beyond your thinking. So many things would have caused it, so many things would have happened along the line that it will cause a serious revolution. But say an evolution could be like a pattern, like say a growth coming from somewhere, going from one level to the other. Like you see, the AI is a revolution taking place and disrupting every facet of life. So that's exactly what it is. Thank you.
Let's put that together. Now, what I do in my business is I midwife. I midwife vision. I raise up tech startups and edutechs and innovation. Now, I'm not going to come in the regular way you think we could do it, but I'm going to work with a student in the house. Student, are you there? Now, I'm going to give a riddle. In that riddle, I would want one or two of you to use the riddle to expand what you think we can do. You can speak to these ones in going further in this AI. Now, when he was young and mild, no one cares. Now, he is old and wild. Everyone is scared. Do you get that? I should come again? No, okay, you say it after me. The first phrase. When he or she, if you are a she, put it there. Because something was said when we were discussing here. You understand me? When he was young, old, young, mild, no one cares. That's what happened in what we see today. The younger ones. Now he is old and wild. Everyone is what? Average. Do you understand that?
Okay, that's a tough one. So it's interesting. I'm going to answer this from an AI perspective.
Yeah.
In the world of AI, actually everything is reversed, because the older and wiser you are, the more you can add to artificial intelligence. So people with domain expertise, people with wisdom, people with experience, these people are one of the most valuable people today in the world of artificial intelligence. So being scared of experience, I think, is counterintuitive in today's world. Then let's go back to the other one, where when you're young, people don't care, right? That's what you said. Interestingly, to some degree, in the world of artificial intelligence, that could be more elaborated because people think there is a perception that you don't need humans and entry-level jobs will be taken away. But that is very far from the truth. Today, AI can never replace a human being. And if you try to replace the young people who are coming into the job force with artificial intelligence, that will be the biggest mistake we can make. So not caring for them is a huge error if that ever happens. And personally, I don't think that will happen because AI does not have the judgment, AI does not have the wisdom, AI does not have the accountability or the care that a human being has in the job. So that would be my perspective.
Let's put it together for him. I would like to work on the mindset person. When he was old, he was young. You know, that tells us that over time, the ones who should embrace the technology at the right time have been neglected. And when they get older, the nature abort vacuums, and then development overtake them, just like your book said. You what? You disrupt yourself before the system disrupts you. So, can we hear your take from that?
Okay, I'm trying to understand the reader, but I'm not fully getting it. But anyway, based on just how you've explained it, I would say for the young people, I think that young people have a very huge advantage. Even if people kind of seem like they don't care, but young people, I normally put it this way: what a time to be alive, that we live in an age with so much opportunities at our fingertips, right? The barriers to entry have been lowered by artificial intelligence, not completely removed, by the way, but just being lowered by artificial intelligence. So meaning that even in your youth, you can use artificial intelligence to accomplish things that would have been maybe impossible just a few years ago. So this is a tool that you can use, and a few years ago it would have required a team for you to accomplish certain things. You would have required a big budget to accomplish certain things. But today, if you can learn the tool and understand it and apply it to whatever project you are working on, it reduces the number of people you will need. Even if you want to start a business, it reduces the number of people you need to start a business. It reduces the amount of capital you need to start a business. So I think from that perspective, it's such a huge opportunity for the youth. Now, when it comes to the older people, the way my brain understands what you're saying is that some old people are kind of removing themselves from the revolution and saying, well, I think I've done my time. I think my work is over, or my work is done. But I also think that this revolution, so to say, does not have a bias towards age, irrespective of how old you are. You can use this technology to still do amazing things. So again, since you've decided to give me a title, the mindset shifter, so let me go back to the mindset. So again, it comes back to how you think about it. If you think you're too old to use it, well, that's your reality. If you think you are too young to use it, then that becomes your reality as well, because AI doesn't really discriminate in that sense. AI is just a loyal tool
that gives you back whatever you think. If you speak to AI and tell you you are the dumbest person alive, you say, okay, cool, that's it, you are really, really dumb. If you speak to it and say, I have this goal and I want to accomplish, it also tells you how you can get to accomplish that goal. So I think that age is pretty much irrelevant. It's really how your perception of it.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's put that together for her. And we stop there. I would like to ask Professor, what policy can we put in place to make this vision scale through from the miniature stage to the final stage and become a global relevant program?
We have state government, we have state very quiet and stay without doing something at all for a long time. That I think we cannot afford to continue that way. And that is why it is necessary for us to put in place policies that will make things happen. And even coming from some of the things my other parents have said, the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy at the time put together a team to work on the country's AI policy and stuff. And I think that is actually very, very important because we cannot just even talk about using AI, using technology without any framework to guide what we do. When Nikki spoke the other time, a lot of us do a lot of things online without knowing that we are giving too much about ourselves. So people, they eat rice, they go abroad, they travel, they have a child, they have a birthday, everything that you don't even need to go to that person's house before you know what you can do to that person. So, as a government, it is important to have a framework that will guide the use of technology, the use of AI, and also have a sort of guideline for citizens to be digitally responsible and also ensure that it is used for the very responsible to make sure it is used for the right purpose, and that for our children to ensure that they use it for the right purpose. You can even see some of the advanced countries. The UK is talking about banning children under the age of 16 from using social media, and we have other countries like that, that have said something like that. So definitely there's need for this type of framework. And so starting from forums like this, forums like this, we can actually synthesize ideas, put up very robust policy, which we then go through the various stages of maybe legislation for it to become something that will be adopted, and then all of us, this is what guides digital landscape in the country.
Thank you, Professor. Let's put that together for some engineer Charles. What is the expansion strategy for BIV?
Thank you very much. So, for me, the BIV is not just a project, it's an institutional infrastructure. We are trying to build something that will make the students, not just their academics, but they are able to also resonate with the industry. So we are foreseeing in the future where these students, with their ideas, with what they have as ideas, call it thesis, call it researches, we can, from campus, not outside the campus, from campus, they can begin to think like the industry players. This are things we want to achieve with the BIV. So going forward as well is, we want to say all our researches, all our intellectual properties, we want to also commercialize them as well. So the BIV is like a pipe, is like the basis or the infrastructure that will give birth to this commercialization. We want a situation where all the students, not just for Babcock, want to set the example right from Babcock all over Nigeria and going across Africa. These are things that we are working on that the BIV will achieve for us. So it is an institutional infrastructure that will help us bring these goals to pass. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's put down together for Engineer Charles. Okay, Mr. Abi, I want you to discuss with the House. You told us about when you were speaking, within 8 months, there was a change. Now we're talking about literacy to relevant capability. Bringing it from just what we know. Because most times you go to the conferences, people talk about AI. They speak. But from your presentation today, we could see practical approach and work models. Now, can you tell us, if you can give it to us in an algorithm format, if you can give it to us in a kind of where we can pick and say, okay, in the first 2 months, do this, 3 months, go this way. Something that is adaptable, so that we don't have this discussion on air. We have pragmatic solution. I'll be able to pick it. And like you've given us, you gave us a prototype here, which is very beautiful. Can you just give us in the next 60 seconds or thereabout some tips? Thank you.
8 months and 60 seconds.
Okay, I give you 2 minutes.
I love it. Okay, so I think I would say that, well, first of all, everybody's reality is different and you got to take your own path. But there are a few ideas I have. The first one is that develop your own mind on what is artificial intelligence. Stop reading the news in the tabloids. Do not form an opinion about AI because someone said so. That is where it begins. The way I formed my opinion about artificial intelligence is by reading deeply about it, number one, but more importantly, working with it. Over the last 8 months, I have spent about 10 to 12 hours a day working with artificial intelligence, trying to understand what it's capable of, what it's not. Now, everybody cannot do that if you're not in the field, but to some degree, you need to have an understanding of what is the technology for yourself. And only you can do that. Only you can go out, explore, and develop an opinion for yourself on what is AI, and more importantly, what does AI mean for you? What does AI mean for your personal life? And what does AI mean for your professional life? That's where I would begin. I would begin by forming that opinion for yourself. Because once you form that opinion for yourself, intrinsically your motivation to do something quadruples. You get this passion within you once you understand what it's capable of. You tune out the noise that the world is making and you figure out for yourself how you can take this technology and do something in the world with it. And you will find your own path. And today, the amount of resources available. So once you form an opinion, once you decide what you want to do with this, the resources available for you today are immense. Almost all AI education today is free. So the way I learned artificial intelligence is, I decided to go to the top companies and look at their websites. If you go to Google DeepMind, the people who pioneer artificial intelligence, neural networks. If you go to OpenAI Academy, the people who launched ChatGPT. If you go to Anthropic, the people who developed the idea of AI agents, all of them publish papers. These are easy papers to read, and they give you real knowledge compared to what the media gives you. Now, the media is important. This isn't to diss what the media is doing. This is just that every platform has its place. And if you really want to understand artificial intelligence, you got to go to the source. and learning is available for you for plenty. So yeah, I would say, just to summarize, form your own opinion about what AI is for you.
Form your own opinion.
Yes.
Okay.
Number two, develop experiential understanding, not just a theoretical knowledge. Figure out what it means for your life. You'll find the passion, and then go out and learn and just do. The resources are there for you in plenty. And if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm happy to tell you what I did more.
Thank you so much. Let's put that together for you. I hope you'll be able to follow through the systemic analysis of how he was able to conquer. Folawemi, you are into the energy space. Can you tell us the impact of the energy space, climate, to the AI? Something you have for us.
To first establish that in all of those things that we're talking about, for instance, I'm a science and technology enthusiast, we need to build a strong energy architecture into all of this. When we started, we had a brief glitch with electricity. And what first came to my mind was an experience I had first Sunday of November, I will not forget. It's a high-level stakeholder meeting and the light went off. Like that for 20 minutes. And, to some people, when you share, sorry, I was here. That means it's a spiritual thing. So, from the energy perspective, I believe is the lifeblood of whatever we want to build. So if I need to suggest something right now, contextually, I'll say, let's do a gap analysis.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thankfully, this is a religious school. The Bible says you cannot put a new wine in an
old wine skin.
Else it's going to bust. So, but there are existing innovations already. Are we maximizing them? Is it optimized? What are the challenges? I'm not castigating blames, but we need to see what works. So, is it a leadership thing? Is it an infrastructure thing? But from the energy perspective, it's so imperative that it's not an afterthought. It's built in from the conceptualization stage. It's key.
Thank you so much. If you want to clap, you can do that better. Now, this is Babcock University. Can you tell us from your global experience with other universities, do you think this BIV will thrive in the school? What are your merits and what are the demerits?
I don't see any demerits. I only see merits.
Put your hands together. That shows Babcock is a premier private university that leads all the way. Or Babcock.
So, like I mentioned earlier, when I walked around yesterday evening, I was very impressed with the infrastructure and everything that is happening here at the university. It's just amazing. I haven't really seen this setup anywhere else, to be honest. And I believe that a new project like BIV, did I get it right? A new project like this is critical because the times in which we are living now requires innovative thinkers, not just degree holders, right? So when the university is making that shift, understanding that we are moving into a skill-based economy, not just a degree-based economy, by bringing something like this into the university, this means that the students are in good hands as far as I'm concerned, to understand the shift in the market from an innovative perspective and also to understand things from an academic perspective. So there's so many times that it kind of feels like academia and innovation are enemies in certain setups. But when an education system or body is being proactive in making sure that we combine academia and innovation in one place, I think that this is very much a project in the right path, and I see, like I said, I don't see any demerits. I only see merits from what is going to happen going forward, and to understand that. I think there's something, I don't want to call it an elephant in the room, but perhaps it could be, especially being a Christian university, there is a silent voice or thought pattern where if the Christian is not careful, they can think that making an impact from an economic perspective or from an innovative perspective is almost like selling out on God. Like you are no longer a child of God enough if you are making an economic impact. But the world needs Christian voices more than ever before. The world needs innovation that is anchored to heaven, or Christian voices that represent God in the space of the world. So Christianity can sometimes become, if we are not careful, Christian can sometimes become so heavily minded that they become utterly useless, and that is what a project like this can prevent from going there. So yeah, that's my question.
Please, let's put down together for her. It's a food for thought, and let's look into that direction. Thank you so much. Because of our time, before we give them the final wrap-up, yes, we want to welcome from the audience anyone with questions to the panelists. You just want to ask them one or two questions. Please, can you just come forward, or we give you the mic?
Everyone, I'm the panelist. My name is Dela Jeremiah, from the level structural engineering. So my question is, I'm someone that is into the security space, cyber security specifically. So I want to ask, what's your opinion in how to implement AI in building security systems? What would you say, how much AI should be used to help streamline attacks, or it should be brought to a lower percentage? What will you advise security personnel to go about it when they are developing security solutions across all sectors?
Okay. So have you heard about intrusion detection prevention systems? Okay. Most times they build it with Linux, use Linux. You heard about Suricata or Elasticsearch. They use it to build it like a dashboard. So what they do is on the system, they build it and they use it to kind of, on the threats on the network. Maybe an enterprise network, a local network, or a wide area network. So with that system, you are able to kind of catch the threats. Now these are anomalies that you know. Now what are the ones you don't know? That's the question. Now that comes in AI. Like our company, we've done some work with some companies. We installed for them those kind of big systems. But we discovered that over time, because things are changing, times are changing, with the incoming of AI, things are being messed up. So we need an AI agent in our system to help us detect those anomalies in the system. That is the only way we can solve. Because the things we don't know, the things we only know about through the internet, like the internet is just like a repository of information, of data. But with the AI, it is able to detect other anomalies that we don't even know in our algorithm and tell us this is a threat, this is a problem, this is a problem. So that is what AI will do. And in short, we can't build any system that will do intrusion detection or prevent a system without using AI. Just any system you are building right now has to do with security or security operation, and AI is not integrated in it, then you as an IT expert have done nothing. Thank you very much.
My name is Ochilongo Gutsit from the Department of Languages and Literary Studies, and my question is also coming from that direction. Based on the first presentation this morning that mentioned being relevant in our ecosystem with whatever innovations we're coming up with, and having someone on the policy level, because in Nigeria, that's one thing I have discovered, which is setting us back as a nation. And the government knows that, but does not want to go into that. That's language. We have a challenge with language. And in innovation of this nature that will be relevant in our ecosystem, We are not just looking at students and lecturers. We are looking at how we can coordinate the environment and resources in the environment and make them become accessible and also make for economic gains. And I'm asking, in developing AI tools, AI models, or AI apps, because we need to walk into sort from that presentation. How do we manage language problem? Because in Nigeria, if we have things that will benefit Nigerians as a whole, we must have a language that will drive whatever things we are developing, which will involve that the marketers, the farmers, the professionals, and all the rest of them, we have a hand, we have a clue, we have also a contribution and whatever to gain from. How do we harness language problem in developing something that will be relevant to us as Nigerians and as Africans? Thank you.
I would suggest that probably, okay, you want to try?
Let us try the answer. So, with the way things are with innovation, the issue of languages is becoming a non-issue. Talking Spanish, talking Russia or India. Right now we have AI agents that are inbuilt in the system that can translate to different languages. My company, in our platform, we are building a platform also on Linux. For the students know what they call Linux. On Linux platform, what it does is whatever language, speaking for maybe 5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, it is able to translate those languages to different languages, from English to Russia, to Spanish, to India, to Arabian. That is what the kind of project we are working on at the immediate. So what I want to say now, with the advent of AI, when it comes to innovation, these walls are broken. These walls are no longer there. So I can from here talk to the Fulani man in the north and tell him the weather. I can tell him the weather because already I have data. Thank God Abdullah is here. Abdullah will give us a satellite. He will demonstrate for us a satellite. That satellite is able to pick data. All kinds of data, agri data, health data, pick all those data, and if the guy in the north or somewhere in the west also, that understands only Yoruba, we are able to use the app integrated to the system and to translate that language to whatever language he or she wants. That is how it works. Thank you.
So there's a portion of my book in the last chapter that I titled Silence White Code, right? Which is the explosion of African languages from AI. And it says, AI speaks many languages, but not Africa's. The vast majority of AI systems today are trained on what researchers call high-resource languages. And those are English, Chinese, French, Spanish, and a few other widely used European languages. So as a result of that, when you interact with the generative AI model, the default output reflects Western or Asian context. African voices, accents, and languages are often poorly understood, misinterpreted, and completely absent. Africa is home to nearly a third of the world's languages, yet African languages are largely missing from AI systems. For millions of people who primarily speak indigenous languages, this translates directly into exclusion from the digital economy. It means a farmer in Ghana can't use an assistant to speak their language. A Kenyan teacher struggling to access AI tools, maybe in Swahili, a South African learners or struggling to speak Zulu and other languages. And on this part of the book, which I talk about cultural and linguistic diversity. Africa is a treasure trove for data sets. With more than 2,000 languages and countless dialects, the continent represents a deep well of linguistic, cultural, and contextual information that can train AI systems to understand the world more broadly and more fairly. If Africa takes ownership of its data narrative by developing ethical data policies, building local AI infrastructure, and forming inclusive partnerships, the continent could redefine what intelligent systems look like instead of being trained on narrow worldview. Future AI could learn from a continent that has mastered adaptation, multi-languages, and community-driven innovation. There is a lot in regards to that. But I said that to conclude, I highlighted this to conclude to say that Africa has, let me put it this way, we as Africa, we are blessed with problems, which means that this language barrier is an opportunity for a platform like this to actually solve, where we can build our own system that represent us better, rather than relying entirely on Western systems. So this means that BIV, you have a role to play in this revolution by making sure that innovation can come out from this university to solve this very problem we are dealing with, right? And she highlighted something really critical earlier around energy. And I hope that this will be the focus of this group or this project, to make sure that what type of innovation can we bring to the country or the continent at large to solve the energy crisis. We cannot talk AI without energy. It's practically impossible. These systems drink, they are like a hungry lion when it comes to energy. They drink energy. So if we are going to move forward as a continent, the energy crisis has to be solved, not just in Nigeria, but continentally. And an innovation hub, we have the responsibility, not just calling ourselves innovation, but actually bringing practical solutions that will help us move forward as a continent. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikki Bird. We have someone in the house, one of our speakers. She said that's her area. She has a solution for that question. Okoyemi, please, can you come up?
So I said wanted to know the impact of AI on software engineering. So I want to come from the angle of cybersecurity, right? Because that's my field, and when we have a breakout session, I would elaborate more on it. So if AI can defend, AI can attack. That's one thing I need to start with first. So as a software engineer, you go through the whole systematic procedure, application development, coding, and all of that. Now, AI can help to simplify some of those things, just like all the speakers, all the keynote speakers of the saying this morning. It augments, is an enabler. It doesn't take away what you do, and it doesn't take away the fact that you have to apply it. There are AI solutions that you can just give them prompts to help you develop an application. And I tell you for a fact, you will develop an application from beginning to the end. But there is a problem with that. And which is what we're seeing in the industry now. It's called irresponsible programming. There's a slang for it. They call it vibe coding. You know, when you're coding, that means you're programming, but you're doing it on vibes. You're not really putting yourself into it. You find out that such application is not security centered. You get that kind of software, or you get that kind of application, you start using it, but then the impact of it is crazy. Because why? You didn't apply all the necessary guidelines, all the necessary security measures that you're supposed to put in place. Now, I said something earlier. AI can detect, AI can also attack. Now, from the point of detection, our keynote speaker mentioned intrusion prevention, intrusion detection. Now, I also want to mention that AI can do more than that for you. It can help you even do some sort of security testing for this software that you're developing. It can also help you find, in fact, recently, I discovered, while still trying to get to know more about this AI, that AI will even find some issues in your software faster than you will find the issue. However, if you don't know your audience, it's just going to be a situation of, this is what AI has given me, this is what I want to work with. But there's something called false positives, and there's also false negatives. False positives, I don't know, I'm so sorry, this is information overload. False positive is more or less AI has raised something for you, but it is not accurate. But if you're not knowledgeable enough to go through what AI has done for you, you would accept it like that. Then also AI can miss, and that's false negative. Whatever it is that you're doing on it has missed something out. And then you're producing a report like, this is the best report. And that small tiny mistake, or that small tiny thing that AI has missed can cost you a lot. I'm sure we've all heard about the recent bridges everywhere, Sterling and all of that. Sterling, CAC and the likes. That can also contribute to it. I hope this has given you a bit of clarity. Thank you.
Please let's put that together for her. Because of press of time, we will not be able to take other questions. Okay? So we will just give our panelists their final voice. 60 seconds, please.
Thank you. I'm going to take 15 seconds to quickly talk about the question of language. India has 25 languages, one in every state, and a total of 500 dialects. So most states I travel to in India, I cannot communicate or understand because I only know the language of my state. Overcoming this is very simple. They are developing language models. They are developing artificial intelligence that speaks local language. And this is something that I think should be a heart and core of the Innovation Center. This whole concept is called multilingual AI, and every country is doing this. And like Nikki beautifully said, language is more than communication. It's your history, it's culture. In India, there's a language called Sanskrit. There is no language like that in the world because in Sanskrit, every word you say is a sound. It isn't just a word, it's a sound. The way you say it, it has resonance, it has meaning. And so language is deep, language is precious, and you've got to build AI in Africa with African languages. So coming back to BIV, first of all, it is one of the most important initiatives that you could have undertaken and you are going to undertake. And when you look at the world in 2050 and look back on this day, I'm pretty certain that would be the case. And a lot of what you are doing today and the things you've put in place, the industry leadership, the academics, the venture capital, it's already clear that you have a lot of the right equation, you have the right formula. So I think the only couple of things I would add to that is number one, solve local problems. And in this world of technology and artificial intelligence, don't forget the human being. At the end of every problem, there has to be a human being who benefits from it. You know, the first 15 minutes when I was sitting here and the pastor spoke, his words will never leave me, which is, how do you be an innovator, a redeemed innovator, one who's innovating for a purpose? I think that is most important. And so I think if you can bring that into BIV, it would be an innovation institution like the world has never seen. So I'm very excited for your future.
Thank you, thank you.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Redeem innovators. Yeah, that was very key today. Thank you.
Absolutely. In closing, I would say innovation is about big mindsets, not big budgets. All right. Because so many times when people hear about innovation, the mind goes straight to money. But sometimes you can have the money, but you don't have the real minds to back your plan or to back whatever is going on. And I believe that a movement like BIV is very critical to shift the culture in an academic setting. In the sense that, for example, when ChatGPT hit the market, and someone will write a project suddenly they are so perfect and so impeccable in their language and everything, and you ask them, hey, did you use ChatGPT? They will look at you like, how can you ask me to use ChatGPT? Of course I didn't use ChatGPT. People were very defensive of their work and now claiming to show us that, no, you want to tell us overnight you just become this very smart person. Like, I knew you before ChatGPT. Hello? So this thing has persisted. We are now in 2026 and there are still people hiding the fact that they're using ChatGPT to do their work. Why? Because there is still a cultural stigma and shame attached to using tools like ChatGPT. Because subconsciously it kind of communicates that if you're using ChatGPT, it means you're not smart enough, and that's why people hide to use ChatGPT. So I believe that a project like BIV is coming to shift that culture to let you know we are an innovative institution and it's okay for you to use these tools to innovate and become a better citizen or a better digital citizen. So we need to completely remove that shame and that stigma of being afraid to admit that you're using ChatGPT. In fact, the people who should be ashamed are those who are not using these tools. The people who should be ashamed are the people who are not using ChatGPT.
Let's put together for
I want to close by saying I'm super excited about the BIV project. And I'm already dreaming of a Babcock institution that is transitioning to clean space.
Wow.
So, yes.
That's
where
good.
we'll deploy modular renewable energy, probably solar, and then you can scale over time.
Can you jam those hands together?
An institution where we are going to have electric vehicle is going to scale down on the operational cost and mobility and all of that. And something came to mind. Nigeria just signed a deal with the UK, the £764 modernization of the Lagos port. And I've been thinking, will Babcock be the school that is going to innovate on electrolyzers to create hydrogen? Because hydrogen is energy vector. It's in capacity, it's there as storing energy, and it's useful for that sector. Are we going to have that kind of innovation from here? This is the way I want us to look forward to doing something different, scaling it, and then being the leader in this.
Keep those hands down. Thank you so much for BIV conveners. Thank you so much. Professor,
thank you very much.
Honorable Commissioner, thank you.
So if I get it right, BIV is the Babcock Innovation.
Yes.
I want to congratulate for bringing this type of thing up. This is a university where you have a lot of young people. Most of them, the only problem, they are not married, no children. They have a lot of full of ideas. And this is the right time to tap into this. It's like your gold mine, I would say. So, if Babcock provides the platform for such a thing, definitely you can imagine in about 10 years' time, 20 years' time, when we talk about this university. This is what will make Babcock stand out amongst its peers. So, I want to once again commend you for bringing this up, Vice Chancellor. Remember the Minister of Education, maybe about a month ago or there's this thing about entrepreneurship, innovation that was launched. And now they're saying that every university you actually have mount that program, starting with about, I think 14 universities or thereabout. Babcock is not part of it. You are not even waiting for them. So